turning that in and submitting those assignments for Chapter 3 and the current assignments that we are working on. So Mr. King has up the homework that was yesterday. It was the car rental problem, and he started it with you in class yesterday.
Does anybody have any questions on the homework? Anything you want to review? We started it, we got both y equations. Next step would be set them equal to each other. Then you plug in 75. Then you plug in 75 miles for x. And then you plug in 125 for y for each equation. Is there any questions on the homework before you turn it in? Okay, if there's no questions, we're going to start today's lesson, which is actually your homework. So we're going to start your homework with you. It's not too much. You just scroll down, and we're going to finish up this packet. It's pages 11, 12, and 13. And basically all it is 3 problems. We're going to do the first one with you. And then from there, you guys can either stay on and ask questions, or you can go finish it on your own. So we're going to start just by going through some definitions to start here. Haley, what's slope-intercept form? What's their equation?
Y equals mx plus b.
You got that right. That's it. Y equals mx plus b. And then when we're looking at this, though, in a real world situation, our m, what does that mean? If we look back up into the equation above, what does this m value mean right here?
Slope.
Good, slope, but what does that mean in real world situations? In this case, what does that mean? What's happening there for these m values?
Money.
So again, say it again.
Money.
Money, good. And it's how much money per mile, right? So what's happening there is we're having change. It could be money per mile, it could be number of months, whatever it is, it's changed. So our definition is slope is going to be the rate of change. It's something that's always changing. And then the y-intercept, and we'll go back up and look at those examples. The y-intercept here, this is how much we start out with. And that's going to be what's called our initial value, or starting value. Any questions on our definitions? So we're going to do 3 examples here. We're going to do the first one together. Have a volunteer to read this for us? Anybody feel like reading this morning? All right, I'll read it. Wendy is starting a catering business and is attempting to figure out whom she would be using to transport the food to different locations. She has found 2 trucking companies that are willing to make sure her food arrives intact. You have Peter's Pickup, charges 40 cents per mile and charges a flat fee of $68. You have Helen's Haulers, and they charge 65 cents per mile and then charges a flat fee of $23. So Bill, we're going to set up our variables. In this case, we're going to use our X and why? But look at our definition. Which one of these is changing?
The money per mile.
Yeah, not the money, but the miles, right? The miles are what's going to change. How many miles you have to deliver. So we're going to label this number of miles. And then Bill actually gave us the other answer, which is our Y value, and that's going to be the cost or the money. So now we're going to write our two equations. We have Peter's, and then we also have Helen's. Okay, so let's look at Peter's. Jason, can you give me a formula for Peter's? Jason Korn, are you there?
Yeah. 0.40x
Okay, good. Finish it up.
plus 0.65y.
Now we're just Peter's.
Plus 68.
Yeah, so we have the 40 cents per mile and then the initial cost of 68. Good. So you get Y equals 0.40 X plus the initial cost is 68. You don't have to put the zero there if you don't want. And now we're looking at Helen's. Michael, what's Helen's going to be?
Y equals 0.65x plus 23.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Michael, what should we do for the next part?
You would then put them together, so it'd be like 0.40x plus 68 equals 0.65x plus 23.
Yeah. Yeah, we're using substitution. So we're substituting the y's to set them equal to each other. Haley, what should we do first?
Subtract 0.40x to both sides.
Awesome. Okay, Haley, what do you get when you subtract 0.40x?
Um, 0.35,
Not 35, but
25.
good. All right. Nikai, what do we do next? Nikai, what's our next step here?
Divide 68 by 68 and 23.
Okay, so we're going to subtract 23 over here, okay? What do you get when you subtract 23? What's 68 minus 23? Okay,
45.
good. And then last step is we're going to divide by 0.25. Bill, do you have your calculator on you? Can you tell us what our answer is going to be?
For some reason, when I divided it, I got 180.
That's because that's the right answer. You got that right. Good. And now we got to think about, what does that mean? What is 180? 180 what? Bill? What are we looking at here?
Miles.
Yeah. So we're going to take that 180 miles. And then what do we do now, Bill? With that 180?
Plug it in for X.
Good. And which equation do you want to use? Do you want to use Peter's or you want to use Helen's?
Peters.
Sure. Let's do it. Okay. So we're just going to take Y equals 0.40. And then we're going to multiply it by 180. And then our initial cost there was 68. Jason, what's 0.40 times 180?
$72.
Good. And then what's 72 plus 68?
$140.
140. And where are we putting that in terms of 140 what? $140.
Dollars.
Good. Yeah, so that means that when we do 180 miles, that both Peter's company and Helen's company are going to be a cost of $140. Okay, good. So what do we do for our next step? Lower fee for a 160-mile trip. And then you want to use math to justify your answer. So in this case, we're going to do a little T-chart, and we're going to plug in our Peters formula and then our Helen's formula. Remember, Peters was Y equals 0.40. And now we're going to plug in the 160 plus our initial, which I believe was 68. And then over here, we're going to do the same thing for Helen's, where we have 0.65 plus 23. 0.65 times our 160. And then we add our initial cost of 23. So go ahead, take a minute to go and solve those. Once you're done, raise your hand on here. We got one student done. Okay, remember when you're done, go ahead and raise your hand on here so we can see you're done. So you're just putting 0.40 times 160 plus 68 in your calculator. Michael, what do you get for Peters?
I got 132.
Good. And
Miles.
what is that in? What?
132 miles.
Not miles,
I mean, dollars.
dollars. And what did you get for Helen's?
About 127.
Good. Jason, what's the answer to this question? Which company charges a lower fee? Jason,
Helen's.
say that one more time.
Helen's.
Yeah. So all you have to do is highlight it, star it, whatever you want to do here. That's going to show your answer. Now we do the same exact thing for the next one where we're going to make a T-chart. It says which company will move a greater distance for 200 miles. So that's what we're looking at here. For $200. So now instead of plugging in for X, we're going to plug in for a Y. So we're going to keep our T-chart. We have Peters on the left. Helen's on the right. And now we're going to go ahead and just set up, we're going to plug in for Y. So 200 equals 0.40x plus 68. And the same thing on the other side. Okay, so go ahead and solve for X. Bill, I'm going to call on you for the Peters. And then Nakai, I'm going to call on you for Helen's. So Bill and Nakai, whenever you get your answers, you go ahead and shout them out.
It would be 68 minus 200, which is 132, then divided by the 0.4. And you would
Yep.
get 330 miles.
You got that right. Good. And then Nakai. What do we get here? You there? Michael, do you have the answer for Helen's?
Yeah, I got 272.30.
272.30.
Yeah.
You got it. We'll round it up to 0.31. PA2, 72, $272.31. So let's make some sense of this. Haley, which one? Oh, not dollars. I'm sorry. Sorry there. It's miles. So it'd be 272 miles. And then Haley, what's her answer here? Which one would you rather go for if you had $300? Which company's better? If that's how much you're going to spend. Haley, are you able to hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
Now, which company's better, Peters or Helen's? If you're spending $200,
Helen's.
but which one did you get to go more miles with?
Peters.
Peters, good. So your answer to this is going to be Peters. So you just want to highlight it or star it. And if you look down, the next two problems are the exact same things. We're going to set up our equations, or define our variables, set up our equations. Going to set them equal, make your t-charts, plug in for your x, plug in for your y. And same thing here. That last one, you're looking at selling smoke cones in a local park as a summer job. Is there any questions on the rest of the assignment? This is your homework for tonight, is 2 and 3. So Ms. Kane and I, we're here to stay on. If you want to stay on and work with us on it, I can go to breakout room with one of you if you'd like. Or if you feel comfortable and you're going to be ready for Monday's quiz, go ahead and complete that, upload your assignment, and then we'll take the quiz on Monday.